never forget the phone call that I had with a university president and his chief advancement officer about 2 months after we had presented a campaign feasibility and planning study. And they were reporting on their progress with board giving and wanted to talk about engaging us with campaign counsel. And as they progressed with their story, my silence echoed my dismay. The college president, the university president shared, well, if we had followed best practices, the results wouldn't have been any different. I paused, took a deep breath, and shared with my two friends the 7 deadly sins of fundraising that they had committed. The first deadly sin that was committed was no goal. While our campaign feasibility and planning study report had recommended a goal, it recommended a lot of homework and groundwork in terms of defining specifics and phases and priorities. And we were very specific in the homework that should have been completed before that first gift. So they embarked with no overall goal for a first phase of the campaign, no goal for board giving. They went out, frankly, blindly. Second, neither the board chair nor, unbelievably, the university president had made their own gift first. They were asking others to step up in a major way, and they themselves had not. Third, there was no strategy in terms of the order of the gifts. In fundraising, a sequential strategy is important. You want to typically see your best and highest prospects first. There was no strategy, there was no thought to a challenge gift from a larger donor. They just saw whom they could when they could. Fourth, unbelievably, they didn't involve any spouses in the solicitation visits. This is a board that is about 80% male, older male, and we all know that one day the women are going to hold most of those assets, and they included no spouses in those visits. Fifth, there were no written commitments for probably half the visits. They were verbal commitments, and we know, we encourage, we recommend that you need to leave every visit, solicitation visit, with the next step. That's either a signed letter of intent or an agreed upon follow-up visit and timing. 6, there was no discussion of strategy. Obviously, there was very little strategy in the visits. The board chair didn't know what the president was going to say. The president didn't know what the board chair was going to say. And 7th, and this is unbelievable but very telling, during the feasibility study process, we met with their largest ever donor. This lesson is, or deadly sin, distancing yourself from your best friends. This was a $5 million plus donor. During the interview process, I asked the donor, when was the last time the president has been to see you? He thought, about 1.5 years. During this conversation with the president and his board chair, I asked him, I shared, talking about best practices, when was the last time you visited with your largest ever donor? There was a long pause, silence. This president, who actually had been a VP for advancement at another institution, finally shared, well, about 1 year. And then he said, that's not very good, is it? No, don't distance yourself from your best friends. Fortunately, every opportunity is a learning experience. Every engagement, we can learn from these mistakes. Which mistakes are you making? What deadly sins of fundraising are you making? And let's work together to correct them.